Hey, this is Knife Standards. Today I'm going to be doing my full review of the Pena Mula. But first, please follow me at Knife Standards. You can follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for a lot more knife content and weekly knife reviews. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and talk Pena, and let's talk about the Mula. So Pena is known, I think it's Enrique Pena, he's known for his front flipper knives and his top flipper knives, kind of traditional designs. Like they look like slip joints. I'm not sure if he actually makes a slip joint or not. The ones that I've seen, there's a lot of bolster locks, and they all have the flipper tab up here, but very traditional, kind of that traditional handle shape. Pretty small, and there's the Raptor, there's the what's the other one? Raptor and the Apache and the Lanny's clip point. And anyway, so he has a bunch of models, and he is also a custom maker. So he makes, I think he makes all of the models as customs too, including the Mula. I've seen a few custom Mulas. That was on my list for a long time, and now I've moved on to other things. Although if the opportunity came around to buy a custom Mula, I would definitely consider it. So I guess it's still on my list. But anyway, he makes custom knives, and he has these production runs with Riyadh. So his production knives are, he calls it the X series, and he just did, what was his latest drop? I think he just did the Mula drop not too long ago, but they were they all had inlays. They had like black micarta, I think green micarta. Anyway, not my cup of tea, but they were not the drop point blade shapes. They were more of like a sheep's foot-ish blade shape, which it's fine, but I had my eye on the drop point version, and when this came across, you know, I forget where did I even get this? It came across my feed, or it popped up. I don't know. When I saw this online, I thought, okay, I gotta get it. I love the plain titanium. I love Thumbstud knives, titanium frame locks, right up my alley. So I thought, yep, this is the one. I had been wanting a Mula for a while, and when I saw this configuration, I jumped on it. There's another Mula that has like a weird yellow, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's anodized or not, but it's like a yellow pivot collar, and it's plain titanium. To me, that's just, I don't know. I just can't stand the way that looks. So I'm glad this has a plain pivot collar, much more my style. So as you can see, the action is so smooth. This is a titanium frame lock, as we said. Let's check the lockup. And it is M390 blade steel, drop point blade shape. Now it's a flat grind, but so this is like a flat ground saber. It's a saber grind, flat ground. Yeah, it is almost hollow, but it's not. Definitely a flat grind. It would be great if this was a hollow grind, and you see the beautiful grind lines, but I'm gonna go with flat ground. Nice little swedge up top. Pena X series, and again, it is on Thumbstuds. A couple days ago, it was getting a little bit kind of crunchy and dry. The action was a little bit stiff, so I put a couple drops of oil on the detent ball, and man, the action just smoothed out so much. It's nice and droppy. The detent, really, really, really nice. They dialed it in. I mean, you can see the action. And for a Thumbstud, knife, Thumbstud deployment is tricky, because you don't want it to be too weak where it kind of flops out. That's what she said. Anyway, you don't want it to be too weak where it just flops out, but you also don't want it to be too strong where it just kills your thumb. And I have a couple Thumbstud knives currently that they're just tough to deploy. It just, you do it 10 times and your thumb has just had enough. So these Thumbstuds are actually really comfortable. really easy to deploy. I can middle finger flick it, no problem, really comfortable. I can flick it all day, deploy the knife over and over and over, and I have. It's definitely, you don't think of a Thumbstud knife as like fidgety, but for me it's super fidgety. So I've just been carrying this and playing with it, and it's really comfortable. Let's go ahead and do a quick size comparison so you can see where this guy stacks up. We'll get another titanium frame lock. We got the Quiet Carry Drift, which I've been using a lot as a size comparison knife. And what else do we have on the table? Let's go ahead and do the usual. We got the VBR, also built by Riot, the Varga by Riot. And of course, if you're wondering, the Quiet Carry knife is built by a mystery OEM. We don't know who builds those. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out the Mula first, because we know the VBR is 3.5 inches on the blade, just about 8 overall. The Quiet Carry Drift is 3 inches on the blade. What did I say the VBR was? 3.5? Yeah. And then Quiet Carry 3 inches on the blade, about, I think this is about 7 overall. Yeah, just a little under 7. And for the Mula, about 3.25 and 7.5. So really kind of EDC friendly size knife. I would consider this a medium sized knife, but perfectly sized for EDC carry. Perfectly sized for my hand. I really, really have enjoyed the ergos of this knife. Full 4-finger grip, and where my fingers sit on the scales just feels great to me. It locks in very, very, very comfortable. You look at the scale shape and kind of, it looks plain. There's like a little bit of a curve, but just the way it kind of molds to my hand feels great. So for my hand, excellent ergos. Let's go ahead and get the drift and the VBR out of the way. And let's go ahead and talk about some of the differences. Oh, by the way, I had another version of the Mula that was loaned in to me by Preacher Knives, and he sent that in for me to check out. And it is the craziest Mula there is. It had the fat carbon inlay, and it was the sheep's foot-ish blade shape. So you guys can check out that video if you want to see like a souped up, crazy tricked out Mula. It had the damascene steel blade and a copper backspacer. This is just, I'm assuming that's titanium, just the regular titanium backspacer. You can get your lanyard in there if that's your thing. And yeah, so I just went with the kind of plain Jane version. The big difference, other than the cosmetics and the carbon fiber and all that stuff I mentioned, the big difference is mine is a drop point blade shape, and his was sheep's foot-ish. So let's go ahead and talk. We went over ergos. Ergos are outstanding, really, really good, really comfortable. Let's go ahead and talk action, which you guys have seen. I talked about action already, but I just want to go over it one more time. Very comfortable, very, very smooth. Now, when the, right before I put a drop of oil on the detent ball, it was getting a little bit gritty. Let's take a look. Yeah, really smooth now. And I just started to notice the deployment wasn't quite as snappy. I heard a little bit of that kind of grinding grittiness, and on the close, it was like that, and then I'd have to shake it shut. And now you can see very responsive, very snappy, and a nice drop with just 1 or 2 shakes. So anyway, action is great. Ergo is very good. There's this little thumb ramp, which I'm liking more and more with the jimping. Kind of rest my thumb there, and that kind of just is a nice finishing touch for the ergos. I kind of just press my thumb right on that ramp and gives me a little bit more control and dexterity. Really, really good ergos on this. It would have been nice if this had a hollow grind. Let's look at the VBR. I forgot to mention that. I mean, look at the hollow on this. Super thin behind the edge. I'm not mad about the flat grind, but I feel like it was a missed opportunity for a really kind of deep hollow grind. And does every knife need a hollow grind? No, no, it doesn't. But when you have, you know, these kind of similar grinds where you have that swedge, you have the flat coming across. They're both, you know, machine vertical belt satins. It would have been nice to see, or at least have the option to have this hollow ground. Anyway, let's go ahead and, that's one of the reasons why I love the VBR so much. Now let's go ahead and talk just a couple downsides, nothing major. For one, well actually, I mean, they're not really deal breakers here. This is a great knife. I love the knife. It's very, very functional, smooth. It looks great, classy, aesthetics are excellent. Just a couple things. The clip I actually like. He puts these clips on all the production knives I've seen in the X series. They have the same clip. I really did not care for the clip on, what did I have? I had the, did I have the Apache? No, I had the, what's the other one? Apache and the name is escaping me. But there's two that look very similar. The Apache and another one. And can't think of the name right now. It'll come to me. But I did not care for the clip on the Pena that I had. The Raptor. So I did not have an Apache. I had a Raptor. I did not care for the clip on the Raptor. And the clip is much better on the same clip, but it feels much better on the Mula. It's still not my favorite clip. I think that the placement is not ideal. The lock bar relief cuts are cool. I like this style of relief cut. It's not the big swoop out, but depending on what kind of pants you're wearing, it does kind of get caught up in these grooves. Again, if you're wearing shorts or something loose, if it's jeans or kind of a thick material, it doesn't really matter. Retention is good. It's not a tapper, which is a positive thing. Let's go ahead and look at blade centering. Yep. But I feel like they could have, just based on the scale shape, I feel like they could have moved it up and kind of put it into this notch. I don't know how that would work with the frame lock, and this is kind of protecting the frame so you don't put pressure on the lock bar. I get it. But I don't know. I just feel like while it looks great and it does its job as a clip, I don't know. It's a little busy here with the screws, and I just feel like it's a missed opportunity. I don't know exactly what the solution is, but I feel like they could do better. Now, again, these are produced by Riot. Riot usually nails their OEMing duties, and it's no different for this guy, so good on them. This is just a nice change of pace, I think, for Pena. You know, I'm kind of tired of the top flipper, you know, front flipper, classic blade or classic handle shapes. I just, there's too many models to keep track of. To me, it's confusing. I came across a larger one. I forget the name of it. Maybe it might be the large Apache. I forget, but I can't keep track of the names. But I would be open to trying that, the larger handle size. But the small ones that are kind of these gentleman-ish carries, I'm just not into it currently at the moment. For me, it's not my thing right now. I kind of went through that phase, so I'm much more interested in these larger, even though this isn't a large knife, these larger either Thumbstud knives or just the top flipper, front flipper, and the classic handle shape is kind of, I'm over it. So it's a nice change of pace for Pena to have the Mula as an option. He also had another model that I think he just does customs of, but he had kind of teased it. I think it's the Caballero, maybe. I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. Anyway, I've been waiting for that for months and haven't heard anything. So I'm assuming it's in production. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's still happening. It would be great if it did, because I think it's either a front flipper or it's a Thumbstud knife or both, which I'm all for, because it's the shape of the handle is similar to the Mula. It's not that traditional handle shape. Now, this knife can be front flipped. One of the differences that I forgot to mention is the sheep's foot version, or maybe it's the newer version of the Mula. It has just a bigger area here to front flip, so it's much easier, and I think it's meant to be front flipped. Whereas this knife, I mean, is it meant to be front flipped? I think so. It has the jimping there. There's that little tab that sticks out. Is it comfortable to front flip? Let's see if I can do it. Yeah, it can be done. It's not, it doesn't feel like it's meant to be front flipped, but you can definitely do it. So that's cool. Another deployment method. I have not disassembled this, so I do not know about the pivot, if it is free spinning or not. I'm assuming it's captive. I do not know. Of course, this runs on bearings. It would be nice to see this knife on washers, or to do a version on washers. I think this would be a very cool model, you know, one of all the knives that he makes, to see how it would run on washers. I would love to see that. I would also love to see a hollow grind on the blade, and something different for the clip. It's not a big deal back there, but either a little bit slightly better placement, or deeper carry, maybe even a little bit longer clip. I don't know. Now let's go ahead and check one more cool little detail. There is a lock bar insert, which is always good to see. I do like these four little, I don't know how much they add to the feel. No, I do feel them. Nice little cutout to give access to the lock bar. I like that, a little bit of a grip. And what else am I forgetting? Oh, by the way, this was really light and easy to carry in my pocket, which is surprising because there is no internal milling. These are just two slabs of titanium, which is kind of a bummer. I would have liked to have seen some milling pockets, some internal milling. I think that would add, I mean, this is not a heavy knife, but with some milling, oh man, this would be like a feather, and I feel like that would definitely add you know, another dimension to this knife. In pocket, it was very comfortable. It's not heavy. It carried well. It's classy. It looks great. I'm not a fan of the ones with the micarta inlays, but man, if they did, I don't think it's Pena style, but if they did carbon fiber inlay, oh, man, that would be amazing. Of course, it came with a super sharp edge from Riot that has held up exceptionally well. Overall, this is a great knife. Yes, there's room for improvement, and they're all, you know, minor details, but I think if you're paying, you know, I think the knife was $300. If you're paying $300, I feel like every detail should be spot on perfect. Thank you guys so much for watching. I think that just about wraps up my full review of the Pena X Series Mula, and I'm definitely looking forward to checking out the his next model, which hopefully is the Caballero. I think that's what it was. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on Pena, see what's going on, and see what he does next. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Knife Standards. I will catch you later.